Hi, I'm Arthur Parsons. We're here to talk about LEGO Marvel Superheroes with Connected Digital World.
Andrew from Connected Digital World here. Warner Brothers and TT Games are about to release the next in their LEGO game series. This one's LEGO Marvel Superheroes and features the Avengers and a lot more of your favourite characters. I had the chance to sit down with the game director and talk all things LEGO Marvel Superheroes, including Stanley. So enjoy, and there's some new gameplay footage in there too. Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
Would you like to tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Arthur Parsons. I am the game director at TT Games, working on LEGO Marvel Superheroes.
So tell us a little bit about LEGO Marvel Superheroes.
So LEGO Marvel Superheroes is a game that takes the player on a journey into the Marvel Universe for the first time with LEGO, and brings pretty much all of the great things that make Marvel great out into the player in LEGO form. So we've got a story that features the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men and Spider-Man in almost a who's who of villains. Galactus is coming to Earth, Doctor Doom with Loki and pretty much every other bad guy you can think of are out to pretty much get cosmic bricks that Silver Surfer's deposited around the globe when he got his surfboard exploded, and they want to actually save Earth by taking control of Galactus, so that everyone on Earth sort of kind of bows down to the villains, well, Doctor Doom really. But there's a lot of twists and turns in there because obviously bad guys are never going to happily work together. But yeah, the game's got an open world New York. It's got a load of levels. I think there's about 15 core, really long story levels, a load of hidden missions and stories, and a huge roster of characters. So it's a massive game.
Daddy. What? Oh, quiet down.
How did you go about choosing the characters to put in the game? Because obviously Marvel has a huge amount of characters and a long history.
Yeah, there's no way in LEGO Marvel Superheroes we could get the whole Marvel roster of characters in there. So what we actually did was we set out with the characters we wanted for the story. We then looked at characters that were the favourite characters of fans. We did a lot of sort of internet research work on that. We looked at which characters were going to be popular in the coming sort of 12, 18, 24 months. Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, or Captain America: Winter Soldier. So we made sure we've got characters that are going to be current. Characters like, say, in the recent Wolverine movie, like Silver Samurai. And then we just sort of cherry-picked a few of our own favourites as well. So that's how we set out. But then since the game was announced, and as we've released trailers and stuff, we've had an awful lot of feedback from consumers via comments on trailers or social media, asking for other characters, which we never actually planned for, which we then have gone and put into the game. So we've actually bloated beyond what we set out to sort of put into the game. Hence why we're now at 153, I think it is, characters that are playable. There's far more that are actually in the game, but they're just the ones that are playable. So a lot of characters.
And being a Marvel thing, Stanley obviously makes an appearance. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Stanley and Marvel, they're one and the same thing. Without Stanley, and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and a few others, but without Stanley there would be no Marvel. And so something we wanted to do was get the king of cameos in the game and give him the ultimate cameo. I know, and we knew as a developer that he'd been in video games before, but never to the extent that we sort of wanted to have him. So we've got him in a lot of sort of precarious positions. So around the game, you'll find Stanley stuck in a tree, or he's in jeopardy on a boat surrounded by sharks, or there's a load of perilous situations you have to rescue him from. Once you've done that and you unlock him as a playable character, he's the ultimate game breaker. He has Spider-Man's abilities, he has Cyclops and Human Torch's abilities, he's got telekinesis, he's got Magneto's abilities, he's got the ability to turn into Excelsior Hulk, which is a Stanley version of the Hulk. He is and an adamantium skeleton, so he's invulnerable. So he is the ultimate game breaker. But it's kind of that's he's really good. We wanted to outdo anything that's been done before, and everyone wants to play Stanley. It's cool. And the great thing is he's voiced himself. He really did engage with this game, and it's really good. When we actually, when we wrote it on a bit of paper, it was just kind of a bit of a pipe dream, and then it ended up at Comic-Con. I got to introduce him in a live panel, and got to meet him, and that was kind of the icing on the cake of brilliance. And then we showed him turning into Hulk for the very first time, which he'd never sort of seen, and that was priceless. So Stanley in the game is the character to be, I think.
Excellent. Obviously, you mentioned voices then. You've got quite a lot of people doing voices. Do you want to give us a quick rundown of some of the more popular ones and some of the ones that people would have heard of?
Yeah, so voice work for the game is brilliant. So Lego Marvel Superheroes features Agent Coulson is Agent Coulson. It's Clark Gregg, which is brilliant. We've got Stanley voicing himself, and then the rest of the roster it's like I guess for me it's like a who's who of video game voices. There's the man of the moment, Troy Baker, is in there doing a few voices, including Loki for us. We've got Steve Bloom in there. We've got Laura Bailey's in there, Yuri Lowenthal. We've got Roger Craig Smith as Captain America, amongst others. They're just, there were so many names, and it was just like, there's James Arnold Taylor. We've got John DiMaggio's in there as Galactus. It's just a great cast, and they really had fun with it, And obviously, Deadpool's voiced by who else but Nolan North. So and he also did a great turn as Green Goblin as well. So the cast is brilliant. Every single one of them put in standout performances, and that brings the game to life, because wherever you go, whether it's in the levels or wandering around the city, there's always something there. There's always chatter going on, even if it's generic people just having a bit of fun, taking the mickey out of sort of the characters' names or the outfits or whatever. It's really good. Captain Britain's actually, he's got a brilliant voice, very British, so it's good stuff.
Come on, you big green gorilla.
You mentioned Deadpool. Deadpool obviously is a character that is more aimed at sort of adult humour. So the game itself obviously is sort of aimed at everybody.
Yeah.
How have you had to sort of tone down Deadpool but still make him Deadpool?
Well, Deadpool was an interesting one because he is mature's the wrong word because he's very immature, but he's more adult orientated. So for someone like that, we've got the same with Punisher, really, to some extent. What we had to do was do a slightly different take on it. Deadpool was actually really easy because it was Nolan North doing the voice. We kind of let him run with it a little bit. We had to edit some of that, obviously, but he knows the character better than anyone, and so we gave him a script. He ad-libbed a little bit, and it's all about sarcasm. Humour, Deadpool being the best and better than anyone just because, no other reason. So Deadpool is incredibly funny in the game. It's just he doesn't, there's no swear words, there's no expletives. Because there doesn't need to be to get that humour. So it actually works really, really well. And that's why we did a lot of work with getting Deadpool to narrate these sort of hidden areas, because it sets them apart as hidden areas. but it's also really funny. There's like little standalone stories, little sound bites with Deadpool just doing the whole breaking the fourth wall. You know, I'm the best. Who are these guys? You know, and he never calls any of the characters their proper names. It's always, you know, Captain Goody Two Shoes or Spider Pants or whatever it might be. And we're kind of hoping, yeah, people will love that when they see it. It should be good.
You've got some exclusive characters in the game as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about those and how to get them?
Yeah, so in terms of the roster, there's like I say, there's over 150 characters in the main game that people are going to be able to find. They're going to be able to explore, unlock, purchase using the studs they collect in the city. They are going to be obviously great fun, but there's also other exclusive characters which are in the DLC. Which there's some of the DLCs pre-order exclusive, where you know, go out, pre-order the game, you'll get a load of cool characters. You know, that pack of characters alone, you've got Thanos and A-Bomb and Winter Soldier, and it's, you know, Dark Phoenix is in there I think as well. It's just an awesome like pack of characters, and a couple of vehicles as well. There's Spider Buggy and something. So there's a load of cool stuff in there hidden away. And it's just great fun, you know. The little minifigure you get with the game, again, which is a pre-order thing, is the Iron Patriot. It's a great little character. You know, we had some turn up at work the other day for the team, and yeah, there was a bit of a scrummage around the box, but they're just great because these characters are great. You know, every single one of these characters. Whether it's, you know, Hulk or all the way down to, say, Squirrel Girl, they've all been sort of like lovingly looked after by the team to make sure they're a true reflection of that character and that character's abilities. So hopefully when people play it, we'll have kind of ticked the box on their favourites being there. We're never going to get everyone, but you know, hopefully we've got, you know, most people's favourites.
Ah, Mystique.
What are the differences between the versions of the game? Are there any real differences?
So, you know, the LEGO Marvel Superheroes is going to be out on PS3, 360 and Wii U and PC. It's also a launch title on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it's out on 3DS, PS Vita and DS. So, you know, across the span of all those platforms, there are differences. You know, the handheld game has been designed specifically for handheld. It's actually a different game. It's called The Universe in Peril, and that's great. But you know, it's a different experience of a similar story. From our perspective for the consoles, you know, the Wii U version, we've done mirrored play. So in 2-player, one player can be on the gamepad, one can be on the TV separately. You know, and it's great to be able to walk around with a gamepad playing it on Wii U. There's a lot of touch interactions for the map. On PlayStation 4, we've used the new touchpad again for like map navigation. It's nice and simple. So in terms of the actual core gameplay, it's pretty consistent across all platforms. You know, next gen, you know, there's a lot more post effects. There's a lot more, you know, dynamic lighting. Everything's higher res and shinier and fancier because you can get away with that. But the core game experience is consistent across all platforms. You know, where we have just looked at adding little touches for those platforms where we can.
And finally, being Marvel, people are going to want to stay for the post-credit scenes.
Definitely. LEGO Marvel Superheroes, we've borrowed from Marvel movies. So if people watch the credits, they're rewarded with something. And then if they watch that something, they're rewarded with something else. So yeah, we've hidden a lot of stuff in there. Just to give it that authenticity of being Marvel.
Great. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks.
If you haven't subscribed to us yet, you can do so now by clicking on the button on screen for more gameplay, interviews, footage, unboxings and more. And if you've seen our Batman Arkham Origins interview, click on the screen now.